Hi, Dr. Joe. My name is George Parauda. I am a student in your Marine Science 210 course in the spring of 2025. I am here to tell you my perspective on the Netflix documentary Chasing Coral. This documentary follows a team of marine scientists, divers, and cameramen to capture the devastation that coral reefs have seen. The documentary starts by introducing us to the beauty of coral reefs, their amazing colors, massive variety of life they support, and their role in ocean ecosystems. They cover only 1% of the ocean floor, but they support more than 25% of all marine species. They're vital for protecting coastlines and support fisheries that many people rely on. The documentary shows the team's journey in capturing side-by-side images of reefs to compare them to earlier years. One particularly shocking comparison shows the coral bleaching, obliterating a reef in the American Samoa. The breathtaking images show how such beautiful reefs have been destroyed due to human activity. They incorporate statistics to emphasize their points, such as how over 80% of the coral reefs in the Florida Keys have been lost, while just 30 years ago, coral thrived. In between their shots of coral then and now, they illustrate the science behind the issue, teaching the audience how coral bleaching occurs and the makeup of coral reefs. They also discuss how coral reefs are the backbone of marine ecosystems, stating that entire classes of organisms could go extinct if coral reefs die out. The documentary heavily focuses on the biggest coral bleaching event in recorded history, which occurred between 2014 and 2017. During that time, massive reef systems, such as the famous Great Barrier Reef, experienced widespread bleaching and die-offs. Up to 75% of the world's corals were affected. To show the bleaching process, the team used custom-made time-lapse cameras that were placed underwater for months at a time. Their goal was to document coral in a way that had never been seen before. It was a very difficult task as they lacked the time to properly test their equipment before using it in the water, and so it often failed. Their cameras would fog up, posing even more issues, and in some locations, the reefs bleached faster than the team could capture it. You can see their frustration and heartbreak for the researchers, especially when they realize they can't keep up with how quickly the reefs are disappearing. It's a real wake-up call about the state of our ocean's ecosystem and the urgency that climate change needs us to respond with. The contents of this documentary directly overlap with many of the topics discussed in our class. Towards the beginning of the documentary, they show the inner workings of coral as an organism, that is, in fact, an animal made up of thousands of polyps, further narrowing down to that polyps, like jellyfish and anemone, are microalgae. They are soft-bodied organisms and only a few millimeters wide, but they are the building blocks of coral reefs. What's incredible is that these massive reef systems that can be seen from space are made by these tiny creatures. Within the polyps are zooxanthellae, the microalgae that serve as a primary producer of food for the coral, which allows them to eat and grow. Both the in-class topics of coral bleaching and ocean warming are a focal point of this documentary. As coral temperature spikes, it impairs the ability of the plants to reproduce. The coral is stressed out and thus kicks the zooxanthellae out. The color-carrying plants, as they're kicked out, they take their color with them, and thus the white bleached coral is all that remains. As for ocean warming, they highlight the data of oceans absorbing heat and how that negatively impacts the marine ecosystem. The scientists go into depth about the issue of the planet increasing in temperature by just 2 degrees Celsius. And although it does not seem like a lot, they liken it to the issues that would occur if the human body's temperature were to increase by just 2 degrees Celsius. They show heat maps to show a heat wave that is circulating the planet and destroying coral in its path, and how they must navigate around that in order to carry out their journey. They also show ocean temperature projection graphs to highlight the future of our ocean's ecosystem. They point out that without change, in 25 years, coral reefs could cease to exist. The symbiosis of marine organisms, something we also discussed in class, is integral to keeping a healthy ocean. As mentioned in the video, anemone and clownfish represent a mutually beneficial relationship. More importantly, coral reefs themselves are a symbiotic relationship between the zooxanthellae, the plant, and the coral reef, the animal. The location of coral reefs also plays a part in the documentary, that they reside in warm, shallow waters in the tropical zone bordering the equator, and also off the coast of ocean structures such as seamounts, islands, and continental coastline. I was surprised at the emotions that this documentary evoked, seeing some of our hardest working scientists and marine biologists on the verge of tears, seeing the deterioration of our coral and oceans as a whole is a sad sight to see. The images and video overlays that are present throughout the entire documentary make me feel like I need to book a trip to scuba dive over a coral reef before my chances to experience this beauty before it is gone. I give this film a thumbs up because of the message it is conveying and for the incredible imagery and videography. The statistics and images that they use truly elevate the level of the documentary and make it a fantastic film to watch. Lastly, I would recommend this to anyone, and I am very hopeful that in the future our world comes together to solve this issue so that we can still experience the beautiful coral reefs. Thank you.